President Trump's one big, beautiful bill not looking quite yet that it has the support it needs to pass the Senate. Now, some lawmakers say without more cuts in spending, they will not support the legislation. Joining me now, Congressman Mike Haridopolos, a Republican from Florida. Congressman, good to have you with us. All right. If you're a bet man here, what are the odds this thing actually gets through the Senate?
I think it will get through the Senate. I think there'll be some subtle changes in there. But isn't it nice to have a president who campaigns and governs the exact same way? He talked about cutting spending. He talked about reducing taxes on Social Security, on overtime pay, on tips for that matter, and making sure that our border is once again secure. All of those things are found within this bill, and I'm optimistic we can get it passed and we can move this country forward and move away from the horrible 4 years prior under the Biden administration.
Now, some of your colleagues in the House say if there are changes made, they may have some issues. I know Don Bacon, one of them. You've got some of the House Freedom Caucus guys. Is there any understanding, a meeting of the minds, maybe a come to Jesus moment where they say, look, guys, this is what President Trump wants and this is what he ought to get?
Well, there has been a lot of discussions to get this far. To the president's credit, he actually went to our conference meeting about a week and a half ago and made the pitch. And, of course, we passed the bill by a very narrow margin. But as you said, this is about governing. Politics is the art of the possible. I came here to get things done, not for perfection. If you're looking for perfection, go to your math class. But this is one where we need to move forward. We've made these promises to the American people. They've given this opportunity to have the trifecta. We need to move this bill forward. The alternative is unacceptable. That means higher taxes and bigger spending if we don't pass this bill, because we'd have to cut a deal with the Democrats. I know people aren't completely satisfied with this bill, but it's definitely moving us in the right direction. And if we're able to pass this bill, I think we can build on that with future legislation to cut more wasteful spending and making sure the president's agenda is met. And we, more importantly, meet the agenda of the American public who ask for secured borders and lower taxes and to stop this out-of-control spending here in Washington, D.C.
What do you tell the senior citizens out there? I've been getting a lot of calls from those seniors on my national radio show, and they really feel let down by the president here.
I would say this. If you're a senior citizen and you make under $75,000 as an individual or $150,000 as a couple, you're going to get a $4,000 deduction per, meaning up to $8,000 deduction. That will probably mean about $2,500 back in your pocket to spend as you wish, because you remember, when you're on Social Security, that means you worked your entire life, and ridiculously, you've been taxed on something you've already paid taxes on. Most seniors I talk to are saying, we're glad we're moving in this direction, but the reality is that I have to deal with in the Congress is we have a very narrow majority. There's a lot of more liberal Republicans who don't want to make some of the tougher cuts that I might be willing to make. But if we don't pass the bill, we revert to even higher taxes and bigger spending. And so I'm optimistic that we'll get there. As the seniors have told me in my own district, they're glad the direction we're going. And as you know, changing things in Washington, D.C. is not like moving around a small boat. It's like moving around a huge aircraft carrier. And the president is doing that, and we're following that lead of the president, and we're pushing agenda items that we actually talked about in the campaign, which is so necessary because so many people have lost trust in Washington because too many people campaign one way and then govern another. We want to keep those promises from the campaign. That's what democracy and a Republican form of government is all about.
All right, Congressman, appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much for your time, Todd. Have a great afternoon.
All right. Well, coming up, President